I, Mrs. Manisha Chaudhary from Saraswati Vidyalaya Union High School, Pune, welcomes all the students of Standard 9. Today, we will continue with English Unit 3.4, How the First Letter Was Written, Part 3. Let us see, students. Last time we had seen that how Taffy tells the stranger, that is a Tewara, to go to her home and get daddy's other spear. Whether he is able to do so and what things happen, that we are going to see in the next part today in the lesson, how the first letter was written. Let us see. The stranger man thought, "This is a very, very wonderful child. She waves her arms and she shouts at me, but I don't understand a word of what she says. But if I don't do what she wants, I greatly fear that haughty chief man who turns his back on collars will be angry." He got up and twisted a big flat piece of bark off a birch tree and gave it to Taffy. He did this, best beloved, to show that his heart was as white as the birch bark and that he meant no harm, for Taffy didn't quite understand. So, students, we see in this part that the stranger man, who was a Tewara, thought that Taffy is a very, very wonderful child. She waves her arms and she shouts at me, but I am not able to understand a word of what she says. This is what the stranger man thought. And then he also thought that if I don't listen and don't do what she wants me to do, then the great chief, that is the haughty chief, haughty here means the arrogant, superior or proud person, who is sitting on that other side, that is Taffy's father. He is talking here about Tegumai. He thinks that Taffy's father is a chief of some tribe and who does not even turn his back and look at them what is happening will get angry. So it's better that I should do as Taffy wants me. That is what he understood. And then he got up and he twisted a big flat piece of bark of a birch tree. There was a birch tree. He just pulled off from it a bark, and he meant to show that his heart was as white, as plain as this birch bark, and it meant no harm to Taffy. But Taffy did not understand this. Let us continue further. "Oh," said she, "now I see. You want my mummy's living address. Of course, I can't write, but I can draw pictures if I've anything sharp to scratch with. Please lend me the shark's tooth of your necklace." The stranger man, and he was a Tewara, didn't say anything. So Taffy put up her little hand and pulled at the beautiful bead and seed and shark tooth necklace round his neck. So, students, now when this stranger man, who was a Tewara, gave a birch bark in the hands of Taffy, Taffy thought that he is asking for her living address. She said, "Of course, I can't write, but I can at least draw on it." She thought that he has given this bark of the tree, the bark of the birch tree, to draw something on it, that is the living address. And she said that she will require some sharp object to scratch with. Now, scratch means to scrap with a sharp object. So she asked this stranger man Please lend me the shark's tooth of your necklace. The stranger man, as you can see in the picture, he was wearing a necklace with beads, and there was a shark's tooth in the middle of that. You can see in the picture. It was pointed. So, she wanted that shark's tooth. But the stranger man, who was a Tevara, did not understand a word of it. So, he said nothing. He did not say anything. So, Taffy herself put up her little hand and she pulled at the beautiful bead and seed, and she pulled that shark's tooth from that necklace round his neck. Now, let us see further. The stranger man, and he was a Tevara, thought, "This is a very, very wonderful child. The shark's tooth on my necklace is a magic shark's tooth, and I was always told that if anybody touched it without my leave, they would immediately swell up or burst. But this child doesn't swell up or burst, and that important chief man who attends strictly to his business, who has not yet taken any notice of me at all, doesn't seem to be afraid that she will swell up or burst. I had better be more polite." Now, interesting thing happened, students. When Taffy pulled off the shark's tooth from this stranger man's neck, and this stranger man thought then that this child is a really very, very, very wonderful child. And it was told to him that anyone who touches this shark's tooth without his permission will immediately swell up or burst. Means that person will end up. Okay? That is, the person may be in a bad condition. He will end up, burst, swell up and burst. But nothing has happened so to Taffy, because Taffy pulled it from his neck, the necklace, the shark's tooth. She pulled it up without his permission, and nothing happened to her. So this child is really a wonderful child. And even that person, that chief, that is Taffy's father, who is strictly doing his business, strictly doing his work without taking any notice of us, he is also not at all afraid that something will happen to his daughter. So he thought that he should be more polite rather. So here we will stop, students. In the next part we will see further what happens. Thank you.